שלום, שמי רון פוגל, אני מרצה לקולנוע ומבקר קולנוע. ברוכים הבאים לפסטיבל חיפה הבינלאומי לקולנוע ה-37. אני מראיין כאן תומס דנסקוב, הבמאי של הסרט וילדמן פראי אדם, ומזמין אתכם לצפות ברעיון, הוא יתקיים באנגלית. תודה רבה. Hi Thomas, how are you?
Hi Ron, thank you for having me.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that I really enjoyed the film. I laughed a lot. I was in some intention in some parts. I was a bit sad. And I wanted to ask you, how did you come to the idea of making this movie about a man going to nature, I don't know, to solve his crisis, to think about his life, to contemplate? Because I guess that you live in the city or in an urban place and not in nature or something like that.
No, I don't. I'm a city kid. I think it's always been like a thing for me, like trying to leave it all behind and go into nature and just find my inner wild man. I mean, it's I think there's a tendency right now to try to kind of, you know, go back to the roots in a way, because this modern world can be in a way very numbing, or like everything is so planned out that you want to go back to a place where you are happy if you succeed making a bonfire or catching a frog like you see in the film. So and also, like, I think the midlife crisis is not, the midlife crisis is funny, but I think the way that men deals with this crisis is funny. There is an element of ingenuity when they are sad and try to fix themselves that I think is really funny. I mean, you see in the film, they try to buy bicycles, like racing bikes, or go learn play an instrument at the age of 60 or something like that, instead of just, you know, go to see a shrink or tell a friend that you're feeling bad. So
it's maybe some your reflection about people trying to solve their problems in all different ways, and maybe now it's a trend to go back to nature. There is this definition that's called glamping, glorious camping, when you can camp outside in great five-star like tents. So I was just thinking about it. Another thing is, the minute I saw the poster of the film with the guy with the frere, for me, city folk who go to nature is always for me deliverance. People from the city who go and meet nature, and it ends up not in a nice way, and afterwards you have, I don't know, Wrong Turn and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But here you do it more in a dark way, but more in dark humorous way. You think that was your way of dealing with this trend of going back to nature through humor? Because when of course, there's a lot of things that I want to ask afterwards, but when you talk about the police dog that went on vacation, I couldn't stop laughing, and really funny some parts of the film. Yeah. So you deal with all these very big problems, midlife crisis, with a lot of humor, as I think.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, it was from the beginning our intention to make a comedy, but I think the way we did it was, you know, we went to Norway with a lot more jokes than we came back with, because we just stopped shooting the jokes, because a lot of it was, you know, he's wearing fur the entire time, and that is actually enough. So instead of putting a hat on a hat, we tried to focus on the drama and the characters instead. So, but I'm glad that it's still funny, but I mean, we tried to focus just on the characters, and then, you know, okay, the police dog is kind of stupid, but I mean, we tried to remove the stupid jokes, at least.
And there is this Viking, he's called in the movie the Viking, and which is one of the big symbols of Scandinavia, I think. And he encountered, and Musa, we'll talk about Musa in a second, but he and the guy he meets, they go to this place which has a Viking folklore village or something, and first of all, does these places really exist in Scandinavia? That people
They
can live
I mean,
like Vikings?
yes, you can. You can for a short period of time if you have the money. I mean, Lena Flint, the producer, and I, we've been writing on a midlife crisis film for a really long time. And I don't know how I messed up the Google algorithm, you know, the one that gives you all the commercials. But I've been searching so much on like midlife crisis, all sorts of stuff, that Google thought it would be a great idea to send me to a Viking camp, like a Viking resort, without Wi-Fi, without running water, and etc. So I went and told my girlfriend about it. I said, honey, we're going to this Viking camp this summer. For 10 days, we're going to be Vikings, you and me. And she was like, that sounds absolutely awful. No way we're going. So, and I got to work and I told Lena Flint about it. And she said, okay, I think you might have an idea for a film. And I think I know how we can get you to Norway. So that's kind of how it started. And then we went, and it is a whole like phenomenon. Like I started talking about it, like people going back to nature because life is too overwhelming or too loud and they kind of feel numb with all the possibilities. So they want to go back to something simple, simpler pleasures. And then we actually, the place we shot in the film, that really exists. And it's like filled with seasonal workers, just like a ski resort or something like that. You go, ordinary people go and pretend to be a monk for 6 months or a Viking for 6 months. And it's a whole village and it works like, you know, these are making all the woodcraft, these are making the food, and they gather around and eat 3 times a day. And we found that place and they were so ridiculous. And a guy was actually talking to me about like how he slept on a reindeer fur all year round. And while he did this, his cell phone started to ring in his pocket. So he took the cell phone out of a Viking purse and just quickly turned it off, and was super embarrassed. So like, you know, and that's almost in the film, you know. So it exists, and they, you know, it exists in France and Norway, and then they take tiny boats and sail all the way down in the summer and trade with each other, and it's super strange community, very fascinating.
Okay, because this is one of the most cynical parts of the film, when he understands that it's not authentic and he has to pay if he wants to buy some food, which is one of, again, the hilarious parts of the film, when he thinks that this lady comes on to him, but she would just want his credit card and everything, which means it's not authentic. It's very, so you have like a humorous and a cynical approach, if you can say, about all of this fake authenticity. And, that's what you wanted to show, maybe, or
I mean,
I was wondering.
Yeah, but it's definitely about a guy who's depressed, and I think when you're depressed, you're really searching for answers and somebody who can help you, and you're very easily to jump on a crash course that costs a lot of money, or try to do a juice cleanse, or buy this book, buy that book, or you know, whatever. So you know, it's when Musa tells him about this Viking village, every ordinary person would just be like, yeah, that sounds super fake and super stupid, I'm not going. But he's so desperate for a meaning and a purpose, and so of course he's onto it. And then when he discovers that none of it is real, I mean, there's sort of this whole you know, the grass is always green on the other side kind of thing, where he, you know, he believes it's real, but of course it's not real. Of course there's no quick fix to your anything. And even if there was a Viking village, you'd still drag in your old problems. And, you know, the problem is inside him. It's not that people aren't wearing enough fur around him.
And Musa, the guy that he meets, he's probably, I don't know, from a Middle Eastern country or some Arab country. Does it have to do anything with the immigrants angle, or doesn't have to be? Maybe the actor is just foreigner in Denmark.
I mean, he's not an immigrant, but there is sort of this thing where life can get so easy. I mean, Martin is a very privileged man, 2 healthy kids, got a job he's not showing up to at the moment, happily married, you know, or sort of happily married. So he got everything going for him. So he sort of have to invent his own problems in order to just feel something. So that's why he strips it all away, and then he meets Musa, who has a life and a heritage, and it's been full of problems, real life problems, you know, a lot of struggle from the environment growing up. So he doesn't have to invent anything, you know, he's just happy, you know, getting by, and he would give anything to have, you know, two kids and a wife and a home and a job. And so he doesn't have this, you know, tendency to mess it up just to feel something.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed that's only maybe I was just observing that most of the people that you meet in the film are not happy. I mean, even the cops, the Keystone cops that you can see, some people talk that your film reminds them of Fargo in a way, but all these Norwegian cops, especially the chief inspector, which is, I don't know, he's a great actor from my point of view. He's not happy.
He's fantastic.
He misses his wife. And the other guy doesn't want to be there. He says it's too dangerous for me. So it seems that even the cops are not happy with their lives, you can say. So everybody's not satisfied. It's, of course, the wife of Martin who looks for him is also very frustrated. And the couple on the road are arguing about their sex life. So everybody in a peculiar way has very big problems, you can say.
I think that kind of came about when we, like the whole premise for the film is that men are so bad at talking about the problems. They'd rather just run off into the woods or just kill themselves instead of just saying, I want a divorce. They're going through all this kind of shit instead of just saying how they feel. So we
catching fish or flies like the elder police guy who talked when he left his wife, and then in the end, like she left or something. So running away, you say, is one of the themes, you can say.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they tend to do, at least. But I mean, so we have a film with a main character, and the premise is that he's really bad at talking about his problems and not really aware about his problems. So instead of having him all kinds of exposition all the time, would I think made for some really bad dialogue and a bad film, we tried to do like all the other characters are kind of mirrors on Martin. Like the couple having that argument in the car, that could have been Martin like 5 years ago, when the kids were, you know, weren't even born yet. And I sort of think like Musa is in the beginning of his life, Martin is at the middle, and of course the officer is at the end of his life. So it's kind of, I think they all make this like puzzle fit that they all tell the story about Martin in each of the different ways.
I noticed that even the songs are a bit sarcastic. There's the song in the beginning that says, it's nice when you're knowing what you're doing, and he doesn't know shit about what he's doing. No. When he tries to kill the goat and he eats a frog in the end or something. So
half-cooked frog.
Even the soundtrack is a little bit eccentric or funny or cynic in a way, you can say, if you listen to the words of the songs, I mean. So what did you think when you did the soundtrack or chose the song for the film?
I mean, I think I thought it was funny to have like Martin's MP3 player sort of, you know, start the soundtrack. So it's all the songs are from the same record. It's a guy called Ted Lucas, album from the 70s. Really great album. He only did one and then he died, unfortunately. But so it's all from the same album. It's the same guy, and it's sort of like the idea of having, what do you call it, a troubadour, or what do you call that? Is that even a kind of, like doing the whole thing. So and it's an album that I've loved for a long time, and it worked in the beginning, and we were like, it's so nice to get stoned, can you add that to the, and it's sort of all clicked. I was like, okay, this is just, let's keep this.
Can you say a bit about the shooting? You shot in Norway most of the film?
Yeah, it was shot on location in Norway, all of it. You know, as you see, it starts a bit very sunny and it ends in a snowstorm. So it was rough environment, but I think it's what makes the film. I mean, because nature has to be rough and it has to play against them. I was really happy with the weather in a way that, you know, it got colder and colder as they got further on their journey. I mean, when I like to do it the way that first we shoot, you know, the script, what's on the page, and after that there's like free improv for a while, and if we have a spare time, we just sort of jam. But the first thing to go when you're super cold is, you know, your ability to improvise. So when they were just freezing, and actually you can't see it, some of the coldest scenes were the ones that looks like it's just summer. And you know, they've been doing 10 takes, and I'm just coming out like, can you just do it one more time, but just in your own words, please? And like, fuck off, Thomas, I'm so cold, I can't even think anymore. Like the one where he's sewing his leg, for example, I think that was maybe minus 15 degrees or something like that. It looks like summer, but it was painful.
Wow. And you said that the weather became harsher and harsher. From my point of view, but the movie becomes darker as it goes along. That was intended. That's an impression that I got. The story gets a bit mixed up. It starts as a comedy, but it doesn't end like a comedy.
No, not really. Not really. I think we just went with the approach, like if it's supposed to be scary, then it's going to be scary. If it's funny, it's going to be funny. So we just try to make every scene like as good as it can be. If the intention is that the car robbery should be scary, that's the way we're gonna do it. And I think I'm really happy with the way it mixes. And I like, you know, you get into the cinema and you start to sort of relax because it's funny. I like this, and you like the characters because it's warm and they're likable. And then I think you're ready for the journey ahead, like the darker stuff. I like that. And also, I mean, it's just my personal style. I like to mix, you know, the jokes with the super bloody stuff.
Yes,
I just think that's funny.
It's a mix. It's like a gender bender. It's humor and it's a dark. You can call it a neo-noir, if we can go there, or something like that, because it has guns and it has the police and the guy and everything. Can you tell us a word about the casting, especially of Martin, how you chose him? Because he looks totally innocent, but you see some layers in him as the movie goes along.
I mean, he's called Rasmus Bjerg in real life. He's just an amazing actor. I mean, I've been a fan of his for a really, really long time. He did some legendary stuff in Denmark. But so he's really, really funny, but he also has like this depth and this sadness to him in a way. And I think that was just what Martin was about. Like he's sort of a clown at first, but there is definitely more to him. And I think he was my first choice, and luckily he wanted to do it. So I was just really happy when he agreed to jump on. And then also Saki Josef, who plays Musa, I've been dying to work with for a really long time. I mean, it was never really a casting process of like, can they do the part? It was more if are they gonna have chemistry together? So the casting was actually just bring them into a room, have them talk, and see how that works. And they clicked immediately. So yeah, I knew it was a match.
So is it a buddy movie to your?
Yeah, it is. Of course, it's
like
a buddy movie.
It's a journey movie, and it's like a buddy movie, you can say.
Yeah.
And
road movie.
Yes, it's
on foot.
It's a journey on foot. Yeah, not on car. Yes. Did you have any? Did you use some survival experts, some Norwegian people who lived actually in the wild to get some idea, or?
I read some survival books with Morten Pape, the co-writer. We read some survival books and didn't understand anything from them, but that was still great inspiration. So, and then we went to Norway many times leading up to the shoot. I don't know, 6 times or so, just scouting for the perfect mountain, for the perfect everything, because everything had to be in sort of a radius of a place where we could stay, and we didn't want to do too much hiking every morning. And so, but I think we found a place that has a little bit of everything. You got the mountaintop, you got the snow, you got the Viking village, and yeah. And also that was a lot of great inspiration when we went there. I wanted to just see what is the local Norwegian police like, and I wanted to go to see them on the police station, and I couldn't see them because the police station was only open every second Thursday from 8 in the morning till 10. That was it, 2 hours.
So that's the impression you showed on the film, actually.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of where the police got this whole Fargo stupid element into it, because I never saw any police, and we did the car accident and a lot of shooting, and you know how the production manager is always like, oh, we should be worried about. No, I don't think you should be worried about police at all. Because it's not Thursday.
So that was authentic, you can say. If you
yeah,
can talk
definitely.
about
And actually it was even stupider than that, because the police station was in a building sharing an office with a what would you call it, dental hygienist and a taxi company and a bank at the same time. Like, what is this place? I can get everything done here.
I see. Well, I want to thank you for your time. And the movie will be shown a couple of times during the festival.
Yes,
and,
wonderful.
So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
אני מודה לבמאי ומודה לכם על ההקשבה. אתם מוזמנים לראות את פראי אדם בפסטיבל הסרטים בחיפה. אני הייתי רון פוגל, תודה רבה ושנה טובה. Thank you again, Thomas. Bye bye. Thank you.